Grand Rising. I didn't actually sleep, um, but that is because I didn't smoke cigarettes for like 5 days, and then I just smoked a whole pack in less than 24 hours. So I'm wired. The only way I'm going to sleep is if I take meds, and I didn't want to do that. So we're going to wing it today. I have plenty of chores to keep me up. um, but before I get started on my day, I wanted to say this. Okay, this is what my therapist said. All right, because I mentioned that my therapist said that I was not crazy after I had read my thread. Not all my thread, just like, that day thread. And here's what she told me. She told me that it's true that there is no proof of G sleeping with anyone. And that could be a narrative that I ran with in my head. But the facts are that there is something that G is hiding. Okay. And all of this, the last 9 months of my life, as we have now surpassed like 9 months, um, all of this has nothing to do with what I think he did. I do not care if he slept with someone because we were not in a relationship. Um, what I would care about is if I was being lied to, if I was being told he wasn't sleeping with anyone and he was, that would bother me. But we don't know the truth, right? Um, that would bother me, but that's not, I need it to be like really clear because I've gone on a tangent of all the theories of what he could be doing and all that stuff. And I do understand that that's, you know, I have a deep knowing that something is amiss. And it is possible that I have allowed myself to run off with all the theories of what it could be. But the reason that I do not, the reason why I stopped speaking to him had nothing to do with the theories. It had everything to do with how I was being treated. And that's it. That's all. You know, up until May, I chose to trust and believe that he wasn't seeing anyone else, even though everyone around me, and I mean that figuratively because it's really on the internet, right? There have been whispers for nearly 3 years that this person was seeing someone else. And I chose to ignore that and trust that he was not lying to me. What caused the split, what caused the separation, has nothing to do with if I think he's lying about being with someone or anything like that. What caused the split is solely how I was treated. And that's it. I did not like how I was treated. I did not enjoy how I was treated. And prior to knowing that he hadn't actually contracted herpes, I had already made the decision that I was going to stop dealing with him if he did not acknowledge me on my birthday. Finding out in March that he was negative after 5 years of telling me that he was positive, added insult to injury. It added insult to injury. Because then you had the audacity to still disrespect me on my birthday when I stuck with you and I tried to make amends for 5 years, and not the whole 5 years, because the first year you told me not to talk to you. Then the second year, um, I told you not to talk to me. And then, the third year we come back together. Okay. So a lot of things happen, but I respected your boundaries when you said not to talk to you. And then you respected mine when I said not to talk to me, Um, the cause has nothing to do with the theories of what I think could have been going on behind the scenes. It has everything to do with what happened to me with him on in the 3D, not on the internet, not in my head. The blatant disrespect, the promising to come through every 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks comes along and there's an excuse, and then ghosting, and you know um I had already made my decision well before my birthday that was what I was going to do. But then over the last 9 months, because I am so hurt and I just want answers, I have gone on making videos. Now, not all of my videos are related to the situation. Like that patriarchy video, physiological needs and patriarchy, that had nothing to do with that. The inspired thought came from something completely random. But I recognize how sometimes some of the things that I say could seem to be directed to him, but they're not. I promise they're not. This channel is still this channel is still supposed to be educational, spiritual, but he just falls into some of my work because I absolutely love this individual. Like, I still gave you another chance, and you still ghosted me. And I'm not happy about it, because I tolerated a whole lot. I tolerated like a whole fucking lot. And I do not have any more patience, but it still bothers me. I still think about it and shit like that. So I just wanted to clarify that it doesn't have anything to do with, the internet rumors and shit like that. You know, um, it has everything to do with what happened, in person, in private, in my home, over the phone. And I don't know how long it's going to take to get over it, and so then it brings me to this other thing. Okay, really quick. Because people were there was a video I scrolled past. I might have taken a screenshot, but we're not going to look for it right now. Where they were talking about the kind of person that you want to, deal with, and these qualities. And unfortunately, it's the exact thing I'm talking about, because love bombing mimics everything on there. It is until it isn't. It's not cut and dry. And so many people, I can tell the people that really haven't, either they didn't deal with a narcissist, or they just like had really strong boundaries and picked up on something really quickly, or they themselves just, maybe they don't date much. I can tell who really hasn't experienced love bombing, like real, true love bombing. Because I don't think anybody has noticed that when I speak on like my child's fathers, like G is kind of, he's like an anomaly in the midst of them, um in some ways. But like when I speak on the men that I loved, Okay, when I speak on New York, when I speak on, not all men, when I speak on, all my children's fathers, they all did that stuff until they didn't. And to give you an example, they were consistent. Now, Fode, Aaron's dad, I didn't really give it a lot of time. And if I would have given it more time, I would have caught on to that. But the others had a decent amount of time. A lot of us have this idea like, okay, we should be engaged in a year. We should be, by 6 months, you should know something, and a lot of the times their behavior didn't really start showing until like the 9 month, year long mark. Natanya's dad didn't really show until I was pregnant. The 9 month mark, that's when I decided that I didn't want to see Not All Men anymore. The 9 month mark, because it started to become apparent. But by 9 months, I've wasted my time. Yeah, be consistent. Encourage your dreams. Have intimate conversations. We did all check, 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 check. All right? Encourage you. Be about it and do it. There's... Man, let me tell you something. That's why I love Kyle so much. Okay, Kyle is Jeremiah's dad. Kyle was be about it motherfucker. All right. Kyle said he's gonna do something. He did it. He's done everything that he said he was gonna do, and he was like that even when he was punching me. Okay. These are not. It can be performed, and the only question is for how long. For how long? This is why, for me, dating is now very scary. I don't know if I will ever date again. And I'm being so serious. So serious. Because it's going to have to like take a miracle. Because the things this is what you need to look for. I looked, my dad was one of those people. He was one of those people, he was a catch until he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Till he got you hooked. And then they flipped the switch. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. And you do not know until you get there. There will be some tells. But again, these all can be performed for as long as they need to be performed. That's they're wearing a mask. They're wearing a mask. And it takes a while to reveal the mask. And then there's discernment. With Aaron's dad, I definitely felt something. But he performed the opposite. He's reciting Bible verses. I felt something, and I said, you know what, we need to end this. I've mentioned this before, but we're just going to bring it up again because I felt something was wrong. I could not put my finger on it, but I felt something was wrong. And he talked to me calmly. He encouraged me to be my best self. Supreme encouraged me to be my best self. He was taking me to the gym. We were working out. We would sit and have long ass fucking conversations about the ethers and astral projection and fucking building the community. These motherfuckers will do whatever they need to fucking do for however long. They will talk about their dreams. They will, you will see them. And some of them are enriching their lives and they're getting shit done, right? They're getting shit done. Oh, wow, you just paid for school? That's awesome. Yeah, another woman paid for it. You know nothing about it. Wow, you're really meeting your goals. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, I could tell who's never been loved bombed truly. And maybe you have, and you still have hope that that is what will determine who's for you. You know, I can't really speak on your experiences. You know, maybe there's something in there that didn't tick, but a lot of these men came to me and ticked off every single one. Okay, even in their youth. Okay, and for Kyle, there were so many things about uh us being young where um like, you know, looking back, okay, at 18 years old, there was a lot that I was lenient about because we were 18 years old. You know, we were 18. Him wanting to sleep with some more people did not bother me because we were young. You know, maybe it's my fault for being understanding of needing to venture. I don't know. I'm free spirited myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. And he actually told me he was a narcissist, but I didn't know what that was at 18. And again, he still fit. He was consistent. He was until he wasn't. He was until he wasn't. You know, he said he was gonna do something. He did it. You know, he encouraged me to be better. Me and Kyle, man, and when we were living together, we religiously did P90X together. I started going to school at some point. You know, um, it doesn't mean that every single thing he did was good, but again, we were really young. So, you know, looking back on that, I can't even be mad at that, you know? But then as I'm getting older and I'm dating older men, I mean, that's all that there is. They all put on this freaking facade. They're all deep thinkers, you know? They all have goals and a lot of them are reaching them. There's very few men that I have met that were just not meeting goals. Very few. Some of them just weren't, and I say that in like some of them weren't super ambitious, so their goals were easy to meet. Or like, not all men. He went to school for radio broadcast, right? And during our time together, he ended up getting a job with the most popular radio station out here for hip hop. He worked for where did he go to school? 1075 and 1067. Now, here may have been an indication, but I wouldn't have understood. I thought that he could have probably got more than what he was offered. And he didn't bargain with them. He just took the first offer that they gave him, which was extremely low. And they were trying to say something about experience, but he actually had like he had done some works. He had some works. He had some stuff under his belt. So I felt that they lowballed him. And when I asked him if he had, you know, negotiated or anything, he said no. And I think that was kind of a sign of low confidence, right? But low confidence isn't the same as like, because he still met the goal. He wanted to work for a major radio station, and he did. And the funny thing is, he at the time, I don't know what he does now, and I don't know how far he took that, right? But he was doing commercials, and it was the craziest thing because we had been broken up. Now I think it had been and we weren't together officially when he was living in my house. But we were together, but we weren't official. And that was my call, uh, for various reasons. But we'd been we had been split up for like 3 years, and I'm riding around in Maryland, and I don't know what their radio station is. Do you know I heard this motherfucker on the radio doing commercials? Okay, all right. It is very uncommon for men not to reach their goals because they're parasitic. Okay, they like to call women and children parasitic, but it's actually them. They usually, ride off the coattails of others. They network a lot differently. So they have a tendency to meet goals. So to say like a person that meets their goals and does what they say for a man isn't really like magical. you know. Um so with that being said, this is why I'm fearing dating. Like as soon as I saw that little thing, it was somebody's thumbnail for their live. I was just scrolling, and it was their thumbnail for their live. As soon as I saw it, I started crying because like it's never gonna work. I never know. No, what the fuck? No, it's never gonna happen. These motherfuckers be lying. You know what I'm saying? Um, like think about it. Think about it. I'm gonna use a loose reference, right? Because I find everybody knows. Well, maybe not everybody knows, but I love me some fucking Patrick Cloud. Okay, Patrick Houston is the shit. That is a hard working ass motherfucker. He is very positive. Okay. No, no, no. Hold on. I just talked to y'all about these cats yesterday. They be fighting. Come here. Come on. Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know what he's like in private. You know, we don't know. We don't know. Right? We don't know. So you could look at somebody like that and think like, oh, he's got it going on. He's got it together. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. Okay, you don't know. And then I've heard him say things that are very avoidant, like he don't want to live with his partner. He don't know if he wants to be a parent. Like I don't know. It might not be. You don't know. Um, he's just a random. But that's pretty much the last thing I watched. In the last, what, I've been on here for 30. I probably watched him like 45 minutes ago. Okay. So he was just the first target, first person in my mind. I love Patrick Cloud. All right. And I'm not saying Patrick Cloud's like a narcissist or anything because I don't know the dude. All right. But this is just an example of how you can look at somebody and you can see, okay, this guy got it together. He's got all these different projects, and chances are he probably isn't a narcissist, but I don't know, because you look around at the people that they hang around and stuff like that, and they're kind of iffy. You don't know any of these people personally. You know what I'm saying? I think and probably not, because I think Kev on stage is like pretty authentic, and I don't think he'd be able to rock with them for that long and not be authentic. But he's just a loose example. Okay. Because again, men have more of a no, that's not even true. Because statistically, we're seeing that women are surpassing men in this area. We are. The problem is, what we see actually, truthfully, is a lot of men lying about their achievements. Like that big series last year with Risa Tisa. Is that, if that's her name? Risa Tisa. Who the F did I marry? Remember her? Lying about things, lying about what he's got, lying about what he's got, and they're going and they're doing this, and he's letting her down, he's letting her down, he's letting her down. And at some point, yeah, I guess I can see where maybe the second time he let her down, she should have been able to recognize that, right? But her story is unique and not unique at the same time. He's like a really, really bad case. The truly like harmful individuals that are like super dangerous, you know, they don't miss. They don't fail. They're really good at what they do, and they're able to check off all those marks, and they can do it for as long as they need to. Okay, if he promised you a car, you're gonna get your car. You know what I'm saying? No matter how he does it, even if he's who the f did I marry to another woman, he may come through for you. So what I mean by that is, let's say, let's use Risa Tisa again and her husband. I forget what his name was, but let's say he's letting Risa Tisa down, right? But there's another woman involved that he's not letting down at all. Okay, you're going to only be one of those. You're going to be one or the other, you know, when it comes to these type of men. So that is where my fear is coming from, you know. So I said all that to say, um, yeah, I'm not. Why are there so many people here at 6:51 in the morning? Usually I'll look up and there's maybe 2 people in here. It's 18 people in here. What an interesting change. Yeah. Um, yeah, I felt something weird with the energy anyway. That's why I kind of struggled to sleep. But it was more the fact that I smoked a whole pack of cigarettes in less than 24 hours, and I haven't been smoking. So now I was like, I drank like 100 cups of coffee or something. But that's all I wanted to say. Have a good day.